Hello, beautiful people. My name is Jaime Stacy, and I would like to talk to you about something today that is near and dear to my heart. 3 shelves in a corner. A few years ago, I decided that I wanted to wear my hair natural. Now, for me as a black girl growing up in America, the standard of beauty was not set by people that looked like me. And so when I began to embark on this journey, I realized that there were not a whole lot of things out there that would help me care for my hair the way that it needed to be cared for. I began to do a lot of research online, and I looked at cities in America that had larger populations of African American people. And in this research, I began to listen to what some of them were saying that I needed. And living here in the Pacific Northwest, I almost felt like saying to myself, well, good luck with that. But I wanted to go on this journey. So I went to the store. I went to my local store. I went to my local drugstores, big department stores, big names, little names, all kinds of names. I went to these stores. And as I'm walking through one of these big name stores, I walk through aisle after aisle. I see all kinds of shampoos, conditioners, all kinds of different hair tools, dyes, all kinds of stuff. And finally, I get to the end of the aisle and I take a left. And in the corner were 3 shelves. There were 3 shelves in a corner. And on those shelves were the things that would work for my hair. You see, whenever awareness is not present, then there's no accountability or action around it. So what I learned about this experience and what I have learned as a Black woman, my experience as a Black woman, that there was just no awareness around what I needed. Why? Because white people didn't have to be aware of what I needed. They didn't have to care about what I needed to work on my hair because it did not affect them. California, in November of 2019, became the first state to prohibit discrimination based on hairstyles. Yes, I said 2019. Not that long ago. There was just not an awareness. Awareness is living in a state of consciousness. White people did not have to live in this state of consciousness, but I grew up living in a state of consciousness of the needs of white people because my life depended on it. I was always expected to cater to what white people needed. And so this awareness, this living in a conscious state of something, means that you are acknowledging that it even exists. Because if you're able to dehumanize it, then you don't have to value it. So I began to see this. So that right there, and when I have conversations with my white friends who are just as upset as I am about the injustices that are happening to Black people, and they want to do something right now, I talk to them about awareness, accountability, and action. So I hope that you will just give me a moment of your time and you use critical listening as I begin to share with you from my heart, 3 shelves in a corner. So awareness. Now that you are aware, now that you're aware, now that you know, Maya Angelou said, I did what I knew to do until I knew better, and then I did better. She's absolutely talking about awareness and moving into accountability and then action. So with this awareness, something that happens to me often is white people will say, we're going to host a cultural event. Let's have a cultural event in our neighborhood. And then they want me to invite all the Black people and, my Marshallese friend to invite all of his Marshallese friends. And let's get, my brother-in-law who is Mexican, let's invite all the Mexican, you go invite all the Mexican people. And I would say this, in order for you to live in a conscious state of something, yes, have your cultural event, but don't invite me. You invite the white people that look like you, that need to be made aware of culture. Now, I can come and fry some chicken. Yeah, I can do all that. But a cultural event should be full of white people. It should not be full of people that look like me. Unless we are there in a capacity to just kind of share about our culture. The awareness about culture should be acquired, something that should be acquired by white people. They should be the ones reaching for that. So now that you're aware, let's talk about accountability. Accountability, what we are aware of, we are accountable for. It's the whole reason why we take a quiz in school or a test in school, is to display accountability through the practice and through the application of what we have been made aware of. We're displaying accountability through applying what we've been taught. So accountability is that next step. It is that next step after awareness. Whenever we're dealing with or talking to white people, I've had an experience where they don't want to be accountable for the things that have happened. Why? They say, because I didn't do that. My ancestors did that. There's no way I could be held accountable. Well, what we have to understand is that racism is a system. And a lot of times people want to say the system is broken. The system of racism is broken. Oh, it's broken. And I would have to beg to differ. The system is not broken. As a matter of fact, the system is working exactly the way it was established to work and benefiting the people it was designed to benefit. The system is not broken. The fact of the matter is we need a new system. So whenever white people take a position with me to say, well, I didn't do that to you, or, I didn't have any part of slavery or anything like that. But yet you support systems that continue to oppress people that look like me. It's another form of slavery. And because we are in this setting, and because I am a minister of the gospel, I have to take us to Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 10. And it says this: people who wink at wrong cause trouble, but a bold reproof promotes peace. People who wink at wrong cause trouble, but a bold reproof promotes peace. I heard this idea come from a friend of mine. He's white and he pastors a church. And he said to me that I was instrumental in helping him to begin to look at some things. And he used the word wink and he turned it into an acronym. And he's like, it's what I never knew. What I never knew. I just winked at it and went on. But I realized that because I was just winking at it, it caused trouble. Because winking at it meant that I was aware of it. But I didn't want to be accountable. I'm aware that this hurts you. I'm aware that this does not promote peace. I'm aware of some of your struggles, but I don't want to be accountable. I'm just going to wink at it. So I want to speak to you from the other side of that, winking at it. What I know now. What I now know. What I now know. You're winking at it. Because there are some things, even 2-3 months ago, that you didn't know. So what I now know is that the system of policing and how it is used in neighborhoods where there are people of color, the system of policing, I'm aware. What I now know is that system is not fair. What I now know is that there are other systems that oppress people of color. One of the things that we have really engaged in conversation is equality. We've talked about equality and how important it is. But I would like to challenge us to move into accountability and exchange the language of equality for equity. Equity speaks to value. Now, let me help you understand that. Equality says I can buy a house in your neighborhood. Fair Housing Act. Equality. I can buy a house in your neighborhood. I can have a party at that house. I can do whatever I wanted at that house. That's equality. Equity means that I might be in your neighborhood, but you still don't value me as a human. And every time you do something that I don't like, I'm going to call the police on you. Equity speaks to value. How many of you have seen the picture that's often presented of the 3 young men standing at a fence looking over at a baseball game? I've been in many trainings where that picture's been presented. One is tall enough to be able to see over the fence and look at the game. And then the other 2 are on boxes. that allow them to be able to see on over the fence. Now, some people would be like, hey, great, equality. But when I look at that picture, what I see is a fence. Why is there a fence? Equity would say, remove the fence and let them have a seat and be a part of what is going on. Because I value what they bring to the table. Equity. What I now know. You are aware, you're accountable, and moving towards action. Because sometimes in our excitement, we just want to go out there and go and do. So I want to talk to us about that part, the action part. Because we just feel like we got to do something. There is something called performative allyship. And I've seen how it has actually hurt the Black community more than it has helped us. Performative allyship is whenever you have a white person who will make a post, hashtag Black Lives Matter. I got the t-shirt. I got the hat. I support, Black people. They make posts about it. They're very vocal about it. They come to the marches, all of these things. And so you would say, okay, that's action. But it's emotional. That's the problem with that. It's because once that emotional high begins to dissipate, so do the feelings, and so does the awareness and accountability. I don't, Black Lives Matter. And then it's until another Black person is killed by the police. And then we're, yeah. Remember what I posted 3 months ago? Black Lives Matter. Okay. But we have to move from emotion. Set your emotions aside. So you might be saying, well, what can I do? Okay. I want to speak in regards to the rioting that's been going on. The rioting is different than the looting. The looting is illegal and it distracts from the cause. The rioting, however, it becomes the voice of the unheard. And that's a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. One thing that I've learned as a Black woman, as a Black person, is that a lot of my white friends will try to use Martin Luther King Jr. as a Band-Aid to put over my mouth to shut it whenever they don't want to hear what I have to say about the rioting. Why can't they be peaceful like Martin Luther King Jr.? I'm like, yeah, and they still killed him. They killed him. So in all of this, in the rioting, that is a display of passion, a display of anger about what's going on. And yet we want to tell Black people that your anger is not okay. We want to deny them that emotion. God gave emotions to everybody. But we want to tell Black people, y'all can't be angry. The angry Black woman, the creators of the content control the narrative. A lot of people have ideas about the angry black woman or the angry black man because of the narrative, the content that was created by Hollywood and by people who don't look like us. So now we have been, this emotion of anger, we've been stripped of it because we've been made to feel like we can't be angry. It's not okay. Don't be angry. But that rioting that you see, those people are angry. Rioting is different from looting. The reason why the rioting is effective is because it gets people's attention and it hits them where it seems to matter the most, and that is in their wallet. So when you want to talk about performative allyship, what can I do? Act with your wallet. That's the first thing. Find a cause, whether it's Black Lives Matter or NAACP. There are a lot of causes out there that you could give to, you could donate to. So first thing would be to act with your wallet. The other thing would be call out people in real life. People that you actually know. Not some troll on social media that just happened to come across your post. No, I'm talking about when you see it in real life at the grocery store and somebody that looks like me is being mistreated, call them out on it. And the last thing I would say is inform yourself. Black people are tired because we have spent a lot of time educating white people about how to treat us. You have access to the same information that we have access to. Inform yourself. There are things that I have to teach my children at home because the creators of the content control the narrative. So the creators of their textbook, they controlled what was in that textbook. So inform yourself. Those three things: act with your wallet, call out people in real life, and inform yourself. Educate yourself on what you could do. So I want you all to remember 3 shelves in a corner, and to know and to understand that I am more than that. Black people are more than that. We're worth more than that. We're worth more than 3 shelves in a corner.